Hello everybody, my name is Mitch. Welcome to my new channel, Edits by Hepty, which is my new channel that I'll be putting stuff onto. So today, for this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a mech ball, something along those lines. I did a speed art of something like that a few days ago and put it up on the channel. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll put the link to that in the description, you can go have a look. So yeah, we'll get started. So what you want to do is open up Cinema 4D for starters. Then you're going to get a sphere, change segments to 40 and change the type to the second one. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but it's tetrahedron. There we go. Alright, and so you should have something that looks like this. Yeah, so 40 segments gives it a nice round circle. You can do more, but then it gets a little bit harder to actually select out all the segments that you need. So click on the sphere, press C, and that will make it editable. And then on this left hand side over here, you want to click on the last block so it turns it blue, and then also go to select and live selection tool. Okay, now if you haven't used the live selection tool before, it's fairly easy. You just get your mouse like this. I'm not pressing any other button, this is just how it is, and it basically selects a few polygons at once. So what you're going to do is see these kind of prominent lines that run down here, and that kind of join up in the middle here to make kind of three different sections. What you're going to want to do is find one of those sections, start in the corner, hold shift, and then just go around the edge like so. And then you just kind of follow that line all the way around to the other corner, and then make sure it stops like that. And if by any chance you do go over like that, you can just hold Command on Mac, or I'm assuming it's Control on PC, and just work your way back. Make sure you press Shift again to restart that whole selection. So as we go around here, I'm just making sure I stick to all the edges, get it right in the corner, make sure you don't miss anything, otherwise your mech ball case will look really stupid. Okay, and once you've gone all the way around like that, sorry, you just want to just roughly go around all in the middle of that area that we just created to fill in all the other polygons so that we've got a full shape. So almost there, and just this last little piece. Cool, so once you've got that all selected, just go around and have a look. Now you can kind of see a bit better what I mean about the whole section. So there's one section there, one there, one there, one on top, and those ones on the bottom will meet up. So once you've got that all selected, what you want to do is go Command C and then Command V, or Control C, Control V, whatever you're on, and then that'll give you a second object. So now that you've got that second object, you want to go to Select, Invert, and then just press Delete. And then what you'll be left with is, if I hide this object, is this nice plate here. So basically, after that, you just want to repeat that whole process. You can deselect your selections, so you don't have to. But if you don't know how, you can just go deselect in the select menu. So I'm basically just going to go around and do all the rest of those objects there. And I'll get back to you guys once I've done that.
I was just joking, man.
Make money, take money, earn, crack money, drug money, bail money. Heard they got life for me, how they got life for me when they took that from me. Since I had my nose, yeah.
House full of kilos, soul pounds of zeros. Cocaine my hero, you ain't fake side getting Debo. Always asking what the learner like. Young home still freeload. Don't fly around my signal. I'll rearrange your gendo. Don't fly around my signal. Don't fly around my signal. Don't fly around my signal. I'll rearrange your gendo. Could be my house, you look like disciple. Heard that I'm liable, you get the eyeball. Aim out the eyeball, I'm getting violent.
Make money, take money, earn, crack money, drug money, bail money. Heard they got life for me, how they got life for me when they took that from me. Since I had my nose, yeah.
I was just joking.
Alright guys, so once you've done all of those and have 4 separate layers, then you just want to, if you deselect the main sphere that we're working off, if just by clicking these circles up here, when they're black, when they're red, they won't show in render, and the other one is won't show in preview. Then you should have a full-on sphere. So if I delete one of these layers, not delete it, sorry, hide it, then you see we've got kind of a weird bowl looking thing. But I'm going to put that back on because that's what we want. Okay, so that's basically the outer core, sorry, not the outer core, the outer shell of the mech ball. So that'll be what kind of comes off if you choose to animate it. So what we're going to do is we'll just go create object and null object, rename that shell or something similar, and drag all of them layers into there. And then you can turn that whole thing off so there's nothing there. Now, this main sphere that we have here, probably we'll reduce that down to around, if you just go to click on the sphere and go to the chord and then the coordinates and change the s.x, x.y and s.z to like 0.7, 0.7 and 0.7, then we'll have a small thing. And if we turn these back on, you can see the difference between the two balls. So basically what we're going to do is now we're going to make some different kind of weird looking spheres that will go around the outside of this main ball. So how we do this is, what I like to do is start with another sphere, and this is going to be at 100, and we'll just change the segments for that sphere to 40 once again, just so it's a bit of a nicer round. It's got some smaller polygons to work with and just looks a lot nicer. And then change your radius of that to about 80. So once you've got that, you want to smash the button C, make that editable once again, and then we're kind of just going to repeat this process, but what I like to do is just go select and ring selection, and that's going to give you this tool here. So you're going to be able to go the full way around without doing all those extra clicks. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to start in the middle and get the second ring, fourth ring, sixth ring, and that one there. Give us kind of a half circle, something along those lines like that. And then you go invert selection, so select, invert and delete, and that leaves us with this here. So it kind of looks like an apple peel or something along those lines, a little hat, whatever. And I also realize that this is kind of a little bit too big for what I want, so I'm going to drop it down to 0.9, 0.9, 0.9. And that's going to make it a little bit more snug on the ball. Maybe a little bit too snug, but we'll see. Oh, cool. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go press Command A or Control A while selected on the top layer, and that will highlight the little kind of apple peely thing that we've just made. And then from there I'm going to right click on it and go to Extrude, and I'm going to click on there and pull that out about, let's go, about 3 mil. So you can do that, and then you can also edit it down in this corner here. So 3, so not 3 mil, 3 centimeters, and that gives us a nice kind of 3D looking peel that will sit over the ball. So from there, I'm just going to deselect. So select and deselect. Or you think you can go Command D actually. So if I try that, let's give that a go. That's alright. Command A, Command D. Nope, so that doesn't do that, so don't do that. Okay, so once that's fully deselected, I'm going to go to the hypernerbs and grab that and drag the sphere as a child of the hypernerbs, and that'll make it all rounded. So if that's the look you're going for, I'll just render that out really quick. There we go, so you can see that. I don't really like that look, so if you do like that, then go for it, but if not, you just pull the sphere out of there and delete the hypernerbs, and that'll give you a nice tough looking thing there. I also don't really like this the top ring there, so I'm going to delete that off. I usually make these fully just as I go, so I just make random objects. Don't have any plan for this one in particular, just make random bits and delete it as I go pretty much. That's how I like to do it. Now these are a bit tricky to select to delete, so as you can see I've made a bit of a mess up there, so I'm just going to deselect it there, and then I'll get the ring tool and just click, delete, click, delete, click, delete. There we go. So I like that a lot better, it looks a bit nicer. There we go. I'm also going to make this a little bit bigger, maybe back to the original size. It's still too big, so maybe 0.95. I like it to snug to the ball, but it's not too much so it looks ridiculous. It's still quite big. I'm going to maybe go 9.3. No, still not to my likings. Alright, I think I'll stick to that. That was 0.91, which is a lot nicer. So then, since it's a bit plain kind of sitting on there, what I'm going to do is select the object, change the model mode on the end to just the standard one so that you can rotate it, and then just hold shift and go across to the side a little bit. It just gives it a bit of difference rather than just sitting on the top. Okay, so for the next layer, we'll just repeat our first process. So go to the object, change segments to 40 once again, and then we're going to make this ball 85. So if we remove this sphere here, you can see that that little grey line, that's the size that we're going for. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller, maybe 80. Make this show up again. So 80 is just a little bit smaller, and that's what I like. I like that one right there. Okay, so we're going to repeat. So C, and you can do any shape on these balls, guys. I'm doing this just because, so I'm just kind of freeballing it, seeing what we can do. Alright, for this one, I'm going to cut out some kind of triangle-y shapes with this. So we're going to go one in the middle. Let's go 3 in the middle actually. 1, 2, 3. Cool. That's a nice thick one, and then I'm going to repeat on this side right in the middle. So 1, 2, 3. And that gives us that there. So I'm going to invert that and delete. And it gives us that there. Now it's a nice fitment to the lower one. And then we're just going to repeat that other process by selecting all of this object here, and then right clicking and going bevel, extrude. Cool, and we'll pull that out, we'll give that about 3 mil, there we go, and we'll go back to that mode there, and deselect, oops, deselect, cool, so that gives us that there. Now once again guys, if you like the hypernerbs look, then go for it, you can get nice hypernerbs. And that gives that look there. But I'm going for a bit of a kind of unnatural looking ball, a bit more mechy. But some things do look really nice when they've been got the hypernerbs on them. Cool, so I'm liking the look of that. I might just rotate this one a little bit to the side, just to get a bit of difference going. There we go. Now what you can do with these when you animate them is you can animate them to rotate. So you have the main ball and then you have these extra layers rotating all the way around. Cool, so what kind of shape do we have going on here? So if this is our shell here, we've still got quite a bit of room to go until we fill up our shell. Might do a couple more layers, 1 or 2, and then we'll go from there. So this, I'm just going to rename my layers. So this is layer 1. And this is layer 2, just so that I know what I'm working with. Cool, so I'll grab another sphere and change the segments to 40 once again, and let's go for a size of about 85 and see how that looks. Cool, so that seems to be a pretty good fitment over that circle there. I like that, cool. So repeat that other process again, make it editable, and then you just cut out whatever shapes you want. I'm going to try something a bit different. Go with this again. We'll go bam, one in the middle, one there. So that's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Oops. Going all crazy now. And there we go. Cool. So it's just some more rings. I like the look of rings, they do look quite cool. And invert delete. So there we go, we got those there. That just adds a bit more layers around there. And then once again, as I usually like to do, select all, oops, select all, and then we're going to extrude it out about 3mm once again. Roughly, doesn't really matter too much. Okay. So once we've got that there now, I might twist that to the side too, just to make it look a little bit different. Like that. Oh, opposite to that one. There we go. So we've got that now. Rename that layer, layer 3. Cool, so this is what we've got now. We've got this baby here, which looks pretty cool. I like all the hard edges we've got going there. It's a bit of an intense sphere, looks cool. Alright, for the next one, I'm going to, oops, reverse that. Segments back to 40. This one we're going to make 90. Yeah, 90. And let's just have a look at that sizing. Yep, so that's good once again. Make it editable like usual. And for this one, I'm going to make kind of a cross looking thing. So we'll go to ring or loop selection, doesn't really matter which one you use. Get 2 of them, each side looking good. And we'll go 2 of them once again. Now is that even? No. Oops. There we go, that's a lot better. And then we'll do 2 in the middle, like that. Brilliant. So we'll go once again, select, invert, delete. The usual. Now for this one, I will put hypernerbs on it once I've extruded it. So once again, select all, extrude, pull it out to about 3mm once again. 3 centimeters, sorry, I keep saying 3mm. And then you want to deselect that, get your hypernerbs, plop it on there. There we go. So that gives us a nice kind of outer shell there, which is very nice. Now, while I've got this still open, I'm going to make a texture. So for colour, I want the interior colour ball to be kind of a tealy green, like that. I'm going to give it a bit of reflection. Some Fresnel reflection. I'm going to make that about 50% on both reflections, so it's not too hard. Okay, and I'm also going to put a little bit of glow on it. Now the glow is pretty much very experimental. A big inner strength is good and also outer strength. So we'll pop that right in the center ball, which is there. There we go. I'm going to make another texture. So it's going to be kind of a darker grey. So maybe something along that line there. And adding a nice reflection to that too, bumping it down to about halfway on both. Adding the Fresnel reflection again as well. Now that's going to go on layer 1. I'm going to copy this and make it just a bit of a lighter grey. A little bit lighter than that. That's the one. And then with that one, I'll put that on layer 2. And I'm going to copy that again. And then once again lighter grey, so on until you get to the top layer. Now you can do this any colour you want, of course. This is just the colours that I like to go with. And then the other one's going to be kind of almost white, but not, but still a nice grey. There we go. So that's what we've got there. It's pretty intense. I might turn the glow down a bit later. So I'm going to go to render settings, put on ambient occlusion on there, max ray strength to 150, contrast to 45. So that's a good one there. We'll render that, just see what that looks like. Usually the ambient occlusion kind of kills the the glow a little bit, which is nice. So we'll just see that. Still quite strong. I'm not liking that one too much. Let's turn the glow down quite a bit on the outer, down to like 100, and the inner to like 400. Have a look at that. Sorry, I'm doing this on my laptop, so it's a little bit slow in the rendering. And make that down to that one. Yeah, that looks a bit nicer. Okay, that's a little bit nicer. Some shading should, some lighting should have fixed that a little bit at the bottom. Okay, so from this step, we're going to get our outer shell. Turn our outer shell on. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Okay, so we'll open up our outer shell, and we will grab one layer and just remove one layer. So there we go. You can see inside of there we've got some nice spacing and all that kind of jazz. So what we're going to do is common here. We're going to just select a layer and then find it. There we go. Go to your polygon selection tool and just go select all, and then from there you just want to bring that out, extrude that out to about 3mm once again, just to keep it nice and uniform with the rest of it. And then we'll repeat that with every single one. So select all, extrude it out. Extrude it out to 3 centimeters. I need to stop saying mil. Bad habit. Okay, and bring that out again to 3 centimeters, and the other one to also 3 centimeters. Extrude 3 centimeters. Enter. Alright, so now we've got a bit of a thicker shell. If I release that, you can see in there. Very nice. Very, very nice. Cool. Now for the effect that I got in the last one, what we're going to do is grab the darker color that we made and put that on the outer shell, and boom, there we go. So that gives us a nice outer shell. Now you can see those creases in there. That's just because of the extrude, but when you pull them apart it doesn't matter, and it kind of I like it a lot better than having a smooth ball. But yeah, you can play around with it and make it fit correctly. It's up to you. So if we just move these outwards a little bit, so go to your full-on select tool, pull them down and out. You can do this in this view over here as well, and pull them out a little bit, just make them a little bit kind of like they've kind of flown off. And then get the one that you haven't moved, which is that one. Right, so now that we've got that looking quite nice, I'll bring this one out and down a bit more, give us a nice view. Cool, so let's just chuck a quick render on that just to see how we're looking. Now you can do this completely any way that you want, guys. This is just how I've chosen to do it, as you can see obviously. And there we go. So we've got a nice little glow in the middle. Probably still a little bit too strong for my liking, so I'm going to change that down just a pinch, and we'll just try that again. Cool. So I like that. That's a lot nicer. What I'm going to do is I'm not kind of liking that the light grey on the top layer, so I'm going to go to create down by the materials and go to broadcast, resources, materials, and then we'll go natural, metal, and what's a nice one? Iron cast. We'll plop that on that layer there. Oops, what happened there? Yes, onto the hypernerves, please. There we go. So now that should render a little bit darker, maybe with a bit of a texture. A little bit too greeny for my liking, so we'll delete that and just repeat that process again and get to the natural metal. And I might go stainless steel brushed radial. Get it nice. See how that looks. Okay, I quite like that. It's a little bit darker and it's got a little tiny bit of a texture to it. Cool, that's nice. Now I also saw there was a copper colour which I haven't actually seen before, and I'm quite a fan of copper. So I'm just going to give that a go and see what that looks like. Metal, copper. Might put that on the outer shells. Might be a bit of a clash with the green, but we'll see how it comes out. No, I don't really like that. I'm going to get rid of that and we'll go back to normal. Cool, so now we've got that, put a little bit of lighting in there. Now, as many of you who have got any experience with Cinema 4D, you probably know of Grayscale Gorilla. Now he made awesome ass lighting kit, which you can get on his website, and I like to go into there and use the overhead light box. So we'll grab that, and for some reason it's upside down, but whatever, that's cool. Might work with that actually. Let's have a quick squiz. Now this lighting box is some very cool features. It adds awesome reflections to everything, as long as it's got a reflective property on it, obviously. As you can see there down the bottom of the sphere, it's got an awesome reflection coming from here. So that does look quite cool, but I want it to be a little bit different than kind of like that. So we'll go to this selection here, zoom the right one out quite a bit, and you want to select the overhead softbox and just do a bit of rotation. Bit of movement to line it back up with the sphere. That looks good right there. Get a bit more light. There we go. And you can also turn the brightness up on this. So if you go to overhead softbox and then click the overhead softbox tab, you can smash the brightness up quite a bit, which is very, very helpful. Now I'll just give that a quick render. Just bear with me because it does take a little bit of time, unfortunately. Alright, I'm really liking the look of that. It looks really nice. Just gonna probably maybe add another softbox just to get a bit of bit more angle on the lighting a bit. So go like that. Pull that back a bit just so it's not as strong. Give that a quick render. Alright guys, so I'm quite happy with that. Before I let you go, basically you can do this in any kind of concept, so you can do whatever shapes you want, whatever outer shells you want, any of that kind of jazz. But I'll give you a quick rundown on how to animate it. I won't do the shell because that's quite time consuming sometimes, but I'll just do the inner bits. So start out at layer 1. You want to probably hit your keyframe somewhere and then drag it along maybe 30 frames, hit your keyframe again, Then you want to go from about 30 frames to about 50 frames, I'd say. Then you just want to grab your rotation tool and then give it a bit of a rotate around a couple times, and then spin it around there, and then bam. And then as you can see, if I press play, it spins around crazy. So it's a bit too fast for my liking. You want to do it nice and slow. So there's nothing, and then it goes into quite a bit of a twirl. So it's alright. It's not the best, but you know what to do. And then you can just repeat that with all the layers. So just at like 0, 30 for example, 30 keyframe, and then drag that all the way out to like 80, and then you go and just rotate your object again. Get some interesting angle on it. I like to just rotate the ball around a couple of times, it looks cool, and then smash your keyframe. So when you press play, they're both going to spin around and it's going to look crazy. And then with the outer one always is the one you want to put the most effort into to make the whole thing kind of pop. So nothing at till 30, because obviously between 0 and 30 frames is when your shell will pop off. So about 85 I'd say. And just rotate this thing around a couple more times, then spin around, and I want it to stop about there. I'm going to keyframe that. So if I come back and don't select anything and press play, there you go. You can see how they all come together at the end, and that looks quite cool. And then all you have to do is animate these coming off the ball. And that's how it goes. So yeah, I'll render that out one more time, guys. You can have a quick look. But pretty much that is the tutorial. It's fairly easy to do if you have a basic knowledge. It's quite repetitive, but it does come out with a very cool effect. And the lighting obviously really helps it look just that much more amazing. If you have any tutorials that you'd like me to do, I do know quite a bit about Cinema 4D, so if you have any questions, just ask me. So that's the final product there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will look forward to hearing your comments, and I'll make the next tutorial probably sometime next week. Thanks.